Good afternoon, everyone. This is Mr. Clapper, and I've specifically designed this tutorial to address the needs for our lower school teachers who will be using Schoology to record and track grades for the upcoming school year. Each teacher, if it already hasn't been done, will be assigned one course, one class, for the class they teach for the given year, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. The easiest way to access your class is by going into Schoology, going to courses, and then finally clicking on your given class. I've created this class as a lower school tutorial. Now within each class you'll have your members listed in here, your different students. As you can see here by clicking on that, I've already added a couple of my students here, Jane and Maristel. And also in the materials area you can add assignments, which we'll get into in a second. But the main purpose for lower school we'll be using the gradebook, and I'm going to show you how you set it up now. When you want to set up your gradebook, go ahead and click on Gradebook and then hit up to Grade Setup. The best way to manage our classes is not to have individual classes for each subject, but instead to use categories for the different topics that we will be teaching. For example, we have English already and science and spelling, but we also teach classes like history. So I'm going to create a class or a section or a category, if you want to call it that, for that given class now. I'm going to go ahead and click on Add. I'm going to type it in as history. I'm going to have it as a total points. So this means when I enter in an assignment, I'm going to enter the points that the student earned. It's very important to know that an assignment worth 10 points is only worth half the weight of his assignments worth 20 points. Now if you're more comfortable using percentages, like a student earns a 95% or an 80%, go ahead and click on the calculated by and select percentage. But in my case, I want to use points. Drop lowest, that's up to you if you want to. If you want to drop any of the lowest grades up to 10. But I'm just going to leave it at 0. I'm going to go ahead and hit create. You can see here that I've already created some of these categories, and you can make as many as you want in these different categories. I'm going to go down to the bottom here and collect a couple more settings. First thing I want to do is hide overall grade and student grade report. You want to make sure this is checked because the parents will be able to see the overall grade, which won't be accurate. So you want to go ahead and hide that so none of the parents use it. Go ahead and hit Save Changes. At this point, I have set up basically everything I need for my grades. So now I'm going to go back to my grades, and I'm going to go start seeing my different students and the different categories. You can see here I've already created a few assignments. For homework, this is in English and in spelling tests as well. What I want to do now is create a new assignment that I can input a grade. Go ahead, one of the options you can use is by clicking this plus sign. By clicking that, I can add an assignment. It will pop up with the screen. I can give it a title to this. I'm going to call this History Homework Number 1. I can put directions here, but most likely this is just a regular grade, so I don't need to put any directions. I'm going to select the date it was due for the students. Let's say it was due next Friday. You don't have to worry about the time. Now in this case, because I'm using points, I want to put in the total point value. This was only a 10-point assignment. I'm going to select the category of history. It's going to be a numeric scale, and also right here you'll see submissions enabled. My students have nothing to submit. This is just a basic assignment, so I'm just going to check the box. Now you'll see that within the gradebook I will see my brand new history homework assignment number 1. This time now, after grading the students' homeworks, I can give them points. Both students did very well in it, and I'm going to give them 100% or 10 out of 10. Now you'll notice a few places over here is that we have an overall grade, and this is a long term for the class. Completely ignore these grades. They mean nothing to you. Basically, the overall grade is the percentages of all these students averaged in. This means nothing to your students. Okay? What does mean to your students and what they will be able to see is their individual subject area grades. When you click on the button right here, and I'm going to show it to you again, whenever you want to see how a student's doing in an individual category, go ahead and click on this little graph right here next to the student's name. As I click on that, it opens up a brand new window, and you will see how Jane, our great student, is doing in English, history, science, I haven't put any grades in yet, and spelling. You can see how they're doing in all the different subject areas here. And this is the same way the parents will see it. Now, they will see an overall grade. Please inform your parents to ignore that overall grade. The only grade that matters to them is the different subject area grades or different category grades. Now, when you're ready to input grades into on campus, you'll just take these percentages and type them in to the given area of on campus, and I will have another tutorial for that. Another way you can add assignments is by going into the class again. And you can see here, this is where I've added all those assignments, but I want to organize them. So I've created a folder here. The easy way to do that is drag and drop it into the folder. Sometimes it takes a little bit of work. There it goes. Drag and drop. Now I don't have a history folder yet. So I want to go into folders. Maybe pick green for history. Hit OK. And again, I can just drag it. Oops. Sometimes a little tricky. There you go. Now I can also go back into these assignments. I can go, once I'm in the folder, I can go back in, add another assignment. You might, if you want to, I have other tutorials on how to do tests and quizzes and stuff like that, but I'll leave that for another time. But that's basically all you have to do for your gradebook. Then whenever you want to input grades or input another assignment or check how a student's progress, you can do that all from right here. Please, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Thank you very much.